What is the smallest, pettiest hill you'll still die on? Don't wave me through the four-way stop to be nice, just take your goddamn turn. Be predictable, not polite. I say this all of the time. And people really need to learn how to manage four-way stops and roundabouts correctly. If the earth was flat, why don't they have penthouses on the borders? Because it would be too heavy and tip the world over. Duh. This is first-rate science. Cereal then milk. What kind of heathen would do it the other way around? My kid swears it keeps the cereal crunchy longer. I have not tested their theory. It does. This method only works if you consistently get the same amount of cereal and milk so you don't overdo one or the other. Alcohol in general sucks ass. I say hypocritically while I drink every night because life. So true. I love the taste, I love the feeling of being buzzed, but if I could interact socially without alcohol I'd give it up forever in a heartbeat. There's nothing wrong with ketchup. Sometimes you just want some ketchup on your eggs or a hot dog, even a steak, and it's fine. Also, it's a fundamental ingredient in many other sauces. You lost me at steak. Driving under the speed limit is also a hazard. It's common courtesy to wait for someone to come off the elevator before entering. Do people actually not do that? I work security for a large condo resort. I will be the only person waiting for the elevator to come down. It opens and people will walk from the beach inside, completely ignore the fact that I've been waiting and fill it to max capacity. Sometimes this happens several times in a row. When someone says also as well. I would also die on that hill as well. I would also die on that hill as well too. The checkout at the store should read 10 items or fewer. I was actually in a store the other day that had corrected this. It soothed my soul to know that not only did someone care enough to speak up, but that someone else cared enough to spend a bit of money to correct all of the signs. Short, tall, grand and venti are not beverage sizes. When I go to Starbucks I order a large. Sometimes they repeat it back to me as large, sometimes they say venti. Either way I just agree, but I always order a large and they always know what I'm asking for. People who say I could care less are absolute idiots. I could care less. Also you do care? Thank you. Ketchup on steak should lower your credit score. The Oxford comma. There is nothing petty about the Oxford comma. Agreed. It's a great device. It brings clarity, beauty and cohesion to any sentence it is in. Sidewalk and hallway traffic should move like road traffic. Stick to the side of the sidewalk or hallway based on the direction you are going. I will not move out of my way for you if you are walking on the wrong side. Some people block up the whole hallway with their groups. If I am plowing through them. The trick is to pretend you don't see them, look sideways slightly, and use your peripheral to make sure you don't get injured. If they see you aren't looking, they move. It's vulva, not vagina. Wasn't there a comic who said, "It's like calling your face your throat"? It is a PIN, not a PIN number. PIN stands for personal identification number. Just like it is an ATM, not an ATM machine. You mean I shouldn't use my PIN number at the ATM machine at UMB Bank? Tipping should not be mandatory and should be reflective of the staff's performance. That's not to say I absolutely won't tip, it's just that I'm not going to if the waiter was, for example, so incompetent that they forgot to place my order and spent the next 30 minutes completely avoiding my table because he knew he fucked up. A new tendency in both Dutch and English where people say the word is twice, where it's needed only once. The problem is that backslash. I'm not even sure it's grammatically wrong, but I hate it. Agreed, but a construction such as, the issue is the president telling the truth is correct. Fish is meat. I had one friend who would not let it go and argued that it was not and it was just fish so much that it became a running joke. My husband thinks eggs are meat. He argues about the eggs and fish thing every Lent. We aren't even Catholic. Eggs being meat is an argument that makes more sense than fish not being meat for sure. Put your goddamn shopping cart/trolley in the corral. I've got one even more petty. A lot of stores have two sizes of cart. Most cart corrals are wide enough to accommodate 2 lanes. If I see you put a big cart on the left when there's already a big cart on the right side, you're getting stabbed. Former bagger/cart gatherer. Our grocery store even has the sides labeled large carts and small carts and people still put them in the wrong side. Also, the people that leave the cart in a parking spot may be 2 spots away from an empty corral. When you're inside it's the floor, when you are outside it's the ground. In my house growing up it was lava. I had a cat that refused to walk on the floor. Jumped from furniture to furniture, and wouldn't go anywhere she couldn't jump up onto something. Aholic is a suffix to mean someone who is addicted to something. Alcoholics are addicted to alcohol. Workaholics are addicted to workahol. Catholics are addicted to cats. The Lion King intro doesn't make sense and it's quasi-offensive in its support for monarchism. Why would gazelles and zebras celebrate the birth of a lion while Circle of Life plays in the background unless they've completely internalized their own role as food for the king? Yes, they are talking about a monarchy. The Lion King is essentially a retelling of Hamlet. I'm going to trick my kids into reading Shakespeare by describing Hamlet as the Lion King, but with people. Toilet paper goes on top. Instructions unclear. Wearing toilet paper as a hat. Before placing a Ziploc bag in the refrigerator or freezer, squeeze the air out of the bag. I don't know why my wife doesn't, and one day I'll have to make a choice. I'll have to make a choice sounds so ominous and threatening, I love it. Something is going in the freezer. And there won't be air in the bag. I can't stand every movie/game title or band/artist name being acronymized these days. What the hell is TLAT? Stros? When you say BTS are you talking about the musical group or behind the scenes of something? It's like learning a new language. Icker. Do not ask questions you know the answer to. Are you crying? No Sharon, I am just sweating through my eyes, that's why I look so upset. I've just been cutting onions. I'm making a lasagna, for one. Don't tailgate my ass on the road. Either pass me or back the fuck up. I love a bumper sticker I've seen a few different times that says if you're gonna ride my ass, at least pull my hair. I hate scanning QR codes with my phone for a menu after sitting down at a restaurant. Bring me a menu I can flip through. I want less time looking at my phone when I'm at a restaurant. I wouldn't mind it if their online menus didn't suck ass. It's usually either a huge PDF that is hard to scroll around, a bad web page that barely works on a phone, or a broken web page that leaves you unable to view it in the first place. I don't care if you jaywalk, but if you aren't crossing at a crosswalk I am not stopping for you, unless you walk out in front of my car obviously, you need to wait for an opening. I'm not randomly stopping traffic for you. And if you are going to jaywalk, at least have the common courtesy to move quickly. 6 a.m. in the morning? No. Just no. I agree. 6 a.m. in the morning is too early. Being late, making others wait, or any other method of wasting another's time, is stealing the most valuable, non-retrievable, irreplaceable thing in their life. I have this argument with my wife all the damn time. She was raised by parents who never gave two shits about being late to pretty much everything. I now make a point to tell her we need to be somewhere 15 minutes before we actually have to be there. My brother and his wife saved their marriage when they decided to start arriving separately to events instead of him waiting on her to get ready. In the business of dangling someone with a rope around their neck until they die, it's hanged, not hung. Although a man can be hung. Just not me. Pluto a planet. I remember the November after Pluto was demoted, someone posted, "Pluto is pissed this Thanksgiving because it has to sit at the kiddie table with the moons and asteroids." No one wants to hear your phone conversations in public. No one. I don't care how you pronounce them, but it's written could/would/should/might have, not could've. The problem is could've becomes could've, which then is mispronounced as could've. Understandable. Still fills me with murderous rage though. Only slightly exaggerating. My mom was in the wrong when she said my prom date shouldn't wear black and red together because those colors tend to look whorish. Checkers boards are whorish? King me daddy. Saying irregardless, despite the fact it's in the dictionary, albeit, as a non-standard, makes you look and sound like a fucking moron. Regardless does the job. It means without regard. So adding the prefix here is goddamned redundant. Shouldn't irregardless mean with regard? Part of me would love to do this just so someone could correct me, then I'd correct them back, but then a bigger part of my is glad urges to actually do something like that went away in high school. Sending a list of suicide hotline numbers to someone makes them feel worse than if you didn't do anything. It's just so dismissive. Lamau, might as well be a plumbing problem. Also kinda suggests you think the person was incapable of doing the 3 seconds Google search you just did. Yes, I've already turned that dumb Reddit someone thinks you need help shit off. How you have no obligation to help. I'd never say that you do, but sending someone a suicide hotline number probably didn't do anything useful. It might act as a wake-up call to some and jostle them back to reality, where they hopefully realize that they need to take a step back and take some measures to protect themselves. You can get into a very strange headspace when depressed or even suicidal and not realize it. Don't talk with your mouth full of food. Maybe it's just me, but I don't want to see partially chewed food in your mouth. And don't chew with your mouth open. I had a coworker I could hear 3 cubes over, years ago, and I wanted to stab him with his fork. An apology should be used when you are genuinely sorry, not as absolution. It should also not be expected to be forgiven, either. 99% of all apologies involve people who either aren't sorry, or have nothing to apologize for in the first place. I'm sorry you feel that way. Beyoncé is overhyped. Rihanna always has been, and always will be, better than Beyoncé. I said what I said. Use the left lane for passing and then get back into the doggone right lane. Grew up in Germany where that's enforced on the Autobahn. American left lane hogs drive me nuts, especially when they go 5 miles under the speed limit. What's the friggin' point? The left lane is for speeding. If you're not breaking the law, then get the fuck out of the way. I love Power Rangers and I don't care if nobody else does. There are people who don't like Power Rangers? Yeah, Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed. There is no such thing as a dead meme. Nostalgia works on memes too. You just need to understand when to put it in a conversation and don't just randomly shout it out with no context. While I largely agree, I eagerly anticipate the return of zero-wing memes. I think some memes had short enough lifespans that there will be little to no nostalgia for them. Obviously I can't think of examples of the top of my head, because an example would be something I forgot. Addings at the end of a word does not make it plural. I've seen it in ads. I've seen it on signs. I've even seen it on a flyer someone wrote advertising their services as a writer. People walk around like it's normal. Out in the street. Saying that they have 14 chickens. Like monsters. I will die on this hill over and over until my assembled corpses make it into a slightly bigger hill. There is a sign on a fruit stand I drive past that says, strawberries, blueberries, raspberry s. It breaks my brain trying to figure out the rationale every time. Like, you had it for the first 2, don't change tactics now. It means the strawberries and blueberries belong to the raspberry. Raspberries, strawberries and blueberries. If the mail says Mr. and Mrs. husband's first and last name, I will not touch it. I took his last name, not his first. If his mom wants to keep sending stuff to me addressed to him, that's fine, but I'm not dealing with it. I'm German and that felt always so weird to me. Usually I only saw it in movies when they get married, but it always felt funny. Literally everything my mill sends. Like, my birthday cards are to Mrs. John Doe. Thanks? Cartoons are not just for children. Cartoons were literally designed for adults. The likes of The Simpsons, South Park and Family Guy are some of the biggest cartoons of the past 3 decades. Cartoon Network made its name by peddling nostalgia to older people with Hanna-Barbera cartoons. The toilet paper roll goes over, not under. Except for when your cat rolls out every single toilet roll you own, then under is the only way to save probably half a rainforest from said cat. Wow, I had never thought of it this way. I would have died a martyr on that hill, but I now have an exception to the rule. I feel enlightened. There is absolutely no purpose in telling someone, you look tired, or really anything else about their appearance that they can't change. It just makes them self-conscious. I assume when people say you look tired that what they are really saying is you look tired. Is something wrong? They are trying to give you an opportunity to explain why you look tired and see if you might need help. It's not always the case, but that's how I tend to take it. When someone says I literally died, I want to slap the stupid off them. For more videos, like and subscribe.